Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And I kind of expected to record this yesterday, because a lot of the Jubilees have come out on Sundays lately, and it's currently Sunday, and we don't have Jubilee yet. But there is a content preview in the news, of course, as I was making dinner. And this, oh, okay, we have a date range again, 820 to 826. Now we know that the meta for Ogre's Pride leaves on the 29th based on the end date for Benimaru and Momiji's banner, the 29th right here. So this is cutting right before it. And apart from Jubilee, I don't really know what's going to be in here. Maybe another Harvest event, probably. That'll probably be on like the weekend. Apart from that, we have a Vengeance rerun right now, so we don't have another rerun coming. We don't know when the next one's going to be, or even what it's going to be. There shouldn't really be any bait banners. I mean, maybe there is. There certainly should not be any new units for the Ogre's Pride meta. We got Shuna. That's the last unit for this meta, unless they want to really fuck us over. But, you know what? Let's find out in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, a bait banner. Tempest Elite. Ew. Okay, sure. That's going from the 19th/20th, so tomorrow versus, or whatever day it is for you, until, oh, the 16th of September. Okay, it's going for quite a while. Does this mean we're getting... Wait, are we getting a rerun already for Temp? Hold on. Alright, so there are packs that you can buy, 30% EX tickets, okay. We've got guaranteed multi-banner on, or guaranteed multis, guaranteed 5-star multis for Tempest Elite, also going from the 19th to the 16th. Jubilee 42, that good. That's for Ogre's Pride. Alright. Oh, okay. Well, huh. Okay, so we're going to go, I guess, from two extremes now. We're going to go from not having any reruns of any meta to having two different reruns going at the same time, because I think Vengeance is still around for a good amount of days. Yeah, for just under 2 weeks left for the Vengeance rerun, and we're going to get another rerun tomorrow. Tomorrow? Is it tomorrow? Yeah, it should be tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be tomorrow. I mean, sure. Okay, I mean, okay, cool. Keep bringing back the free-to-play characters, make them available. Yes, this is something that I've been harking on for quite a while. Give us, give players the opportunity to get the previous free-to-play characters. Great. Instead of making it, a 2-week rerun and then another 2-week rerun, just make it permanent. That would solve all the problems. However, this, I guess, is the next best thing that they can come up with? Question mark? So, Gobta, objectively, is a very good free-to-play character. He is a green orb changer to blues, and he has a single alt swap. Single because he was meant to be used on a burst team. The Tempest Elite meta is a burst blue orb-focused team. Not in any way, shape, or form a great team, but it's a team. I guess we'll go over that after this video, and, well, towards the end of the video, after we cover whatever else. So, Gobta is a good unit. Everyone should get him. He is generic for a lot of blue teams, not just stacking like the Rieger is, but he is objectively good. He is physical focused. The entire Tempest Elite team is a physical team, so, like, magic buffs, the Soe buff, attack for magic characters, and that's not going to affect them. Okay, free construction slot on the 25th, going until the 8th, or 26th to 9th, depending on your time zone again. Okay, cool. We get one free slot here, and if it's already unlocked, then you can unlock it again when it runs out. And, okay, that's it. Okay, so Gobta's beat down battle. Let's go find Gobta really fast. A wind physical character. Here he is. So Tempest Elite Hyper Heart, Flashback Emissary. He's got his own dedicated gear. Wind physical. He is a single target nuker and counter power, which I think all the free-to-play characters have nowadays. But double orb change, green to blues, good. Single alt swap, good. And then instead of gauge increase on the alt swap, he lowers pierce resistance, which, you know, some teams want pierce. The current Ogre's Pride meta wants pierce. And you could, in theory, put Gobta on the Ogre's Pride team and have him convert your greens and alt swap away. You could put him and Rieger together and you have a triple alt swap and you have oranges and greens covered. So that's a very good running for like a free-to-play focused team that doesn't have too many of the super huge big support options. But this is kind of a weird time. Let's bring up the spreadsheet really fast. It's over here for some reason. Okay, so Tempest Elite came out end of February into March. Definitely not my favorite meta. Protector Trainee is just not a good protector, and we'll talk about that also in detail in a bit. But man, okay, so we've had the New Year's Blessing rerun already. We're not going to get a Pretty Sparkle or Stern of Spirit. We have not yet got a Visions of Coleus rerun or a Wielder of Magic. Vengeance is currently going on right now. We got Summer Memories last month. Adventurer won't get it because they're a collab. Goddess of Destiny, Warrior's Mind, World of Fantasy, Fountain of Wisdom, those have happened many, many, many months ago. So God knows when these are coming back. So, I mean, technically we are almost in line now. Because we got Diablo's rerun, not last month, but the month before. Visions of Coleus, because it's an anniversary team, might come back for the 3rd anniversary. Does that mean that the 3rd anniversary is going to be a blue stacking team? God, I hope not. They've got so many of those. But I could see them pairing the anniversary 2nd year rerun with the anniversary 3rd year meta. Certainly something. But otherwise, that and then Wielder of Magic, which is technically also part 1, quote unquote, of the anniversary, that has yet to come back. But that's an orange-focused Magic team. New Year's Blessing is just a highly superior version of Wielder of Magic, and it's not even close. Shinsha and Milim, horribly underpowered now at this point. Hinata is still fairly good, but is getting power crept out because most like big-time supports or DPSs have their own element buff. Shizu is very gimmicky. So I'm not really concerned about this rerun. Plus, Ranga as a free-to-play character is not the greatest thing in the world. So here I'm not concerned. Visions of Coleus, like, it is nice if they get a rerun because Lumi, Violet, Rimuru, Blanc, and Jean are all very strong characters. The free-to-play unit Cleash is pretty ass when considered next to the rest of the team. She's not even on the Visions of Coleus meta, so she doesn't even get the attack buff from Protector Lumi. I don't know how they thought that would make sense in their minds, but she came out because her story event came out and they introduced Cleash as a character. That's the only reason, and I think that was a very strange decision. So I think we're going to see this in the next 2 months or so. So, I mean, technically we are in line because, again, Pretty Sparkle and Stern of Spirit are collabs. They're not going to get reruns, so the next step after that is Primal Demon, which doesn't really seem that far away, but then you look at it and it's 1, 2, 3, 4 months out now. Primal Demon is. Like, it's been a minute since March. So, okay. Apart from an anniversary rerun and a not-so-great one, we're back in line. That's good. And it's good that they're putting out more reruns than normal, because we did go for like 6 months without a fucking rerun. And that's just not great. Gobta being one of the better free-to-play units is great. Yom being probably the best free-to-play unit is great. So please, continue to drop us more not Tempest Elite, but more just reruns. Please bring back the older ones so people can get access to those characters, mostly Traya. The Goddess of Destiny team, I don't like either, but it has my girl Sokka, so that already makes me overly biased towards it. But more importantly, free-to-play Traya is another tippity top-tier free-to-play unit because of her total kit of orb converting for green orbs. She's very powerful. The rest of the Tempest Elite team, let me build that real fast and then we can talk about it. Okay, so this is the Tempest Elite team. We've got Protector Trainee, we've got Tempest Elite. Shuna, who they're cosplaying as other characters. That was the theme of this meta. So Shuna is dressed up like Milim, Benimaru is dressed up like Soe, Trainee is dressed up like Shion, Reamer is dressed up like Shizu, and Gobta is dressed up like Hakuro. So it was an outfit swap kind of thing. Trainee as a protector is pretty awful. I would liken her to, I think, the same, if not slightly worse, usefulness level as Maribel. So if you have played the previous month and you understand the problems that I have with Maribel, she is not by any means the same protector, but they both have that same kind of you're kind of shit kind of thing. So she gives you extra 30 points for the up to turn 5, just like a lot of the other burst protectors, Shion, Velzard. And then her actual skill gives you follow-up orbs, which if you don't know what follow-up orbs, I will put probably some gameplay up right here to show you what I mean. But every time you send an orb, whether it be an alt or a normal orb, it will create a follow-up. Therefore, if you send 6 orbs in one turn, you will get another 6 follow-up orbs that are fire element, as fire-seeking orbs. And they scale, if it's a normal orb, it does 50% of whatever the first orb did. So if your normal orb does 1,000 damage, it's like a normal blue or a green or something, it does 1,000, the follow-up fire orb will do 500. And if it's an alt, it will do 20% of the alt. So if you do 100,000 damage on your alt, the fire follow-up orb will do 20,000 damage of fire element, specifically fire. And if it's an AoE, that's an AoE of 20%. So it's just additional damage that takes place after your initial hit, which really doesn't have too much value because normally you just want your nuke to kill, right? But if your team is not strong enough to kill, you can rely on this. It's not quite the equivalent of the burn skill from the fire team, Benimaru and Violet. It is additional damage, but it's done a little bit differently. And this team does have burn in it, technically. And then she rushes the alt of your highest attacking character by 100%. So if you have a double trainee and you have no alt gauge for someone, the nuker is Rimuru, then if you use her twice, Rimuru will have a double alt gauge. He'll have an EX alt the next turn. So it is a way to just rush immediately. And then the third part is that blue orbs get a 70% skill point increase, which means that they give you a little bit higher cost or higher bit skill point back. You are limited to 100 points in a turn though. And then you get the 30 for the first 4 turns. So 130, you're never going to go higher than that. Well, never going to go higher than 100 until this kicks in, 130, 160, 190, etc. But when you use 6 blues, you're never going to go higher than 100. So it's very hard to store buffs like that, like a traditional stacking team, because it's not a stacking team, it's a burst team. Follow-up orbs, objectively, are not great. This is even worse because it's a fire element. So if you're fighting a water character and you have this protector, even if your attacking character is wind and they have type advantage, the follow-up orb will be fire, which means it will be type disadvantage against the water enemy. So it will do less objectively, which is not great. It's the same kind of skill that Protector Mirren has, except her orbs are light, which means that they are type neutral regardless, unless it's dark and then your type advantage, which made hers a little bit better. But Trainee came out, and unfortunately she's just not it. The rest of the team, though, is, for the most part, fine. Gobta is a good free-to-play character. Shuna, while pretty basic, isn't a bad character. She's just maybe a bit underpowered, because what she does is she does a full convert for Tempest Elite characters. So think of Prosper Lumi. She converts the entire hand of fire and earth. Well, Shuna's going to change the entire hand if they're all Tempest Elite characters, which does limit her even more so than the fire and earth, because it's 2 different elements. But Tempest Elite is a moderately large team overall, so there are ways to work around it. And then her first skill gives everybody guaranteed pierce and 30% pierce power for 3 turns. 30% pierce power is not super impactful, but it's only a 55-point skill, and it does last for multiple turns, 3, which is quite a bit. So it's not this most damaging buff I've ever seen in the game, but it's certainly cheap for its longevity. Benimaru, the best unit on the team. He is the physical buffer for 40 points, so physical attack 50% and alt resistance down for one enemy 25% for 40 points. This is a very, very powerful skill. It is better in single target scenarios than Fount of Wisdom Rimuru, because Fount of Wisdom Rimuru is doing 65% physical and 20% physical resistance down. It's better than AoE. But if you're only single target nuking, Benimaru's skill is better, because the 50 plus the 25 alt down is more impactful than Rimuru's 65 and 20, because of the alt resistance down being just a better debuff. But if you're going to AoE, Rimuru's better, because it's going to hit all three characters and not just one character for this debuff. His orb change is a standard special convert, 1 green and 1 orange to 2 blues. It's not like the new Soe's where it's 2 of whatever color. It's just a set green and orange. But it gives you a 30% gauge increase, not 10 like most of the other gauge converts do, which makes this very, very powerful for blue teams, physical blue teams. He is objectively very good. However, he's also currently featured on the Benimaru Momiji Ogre's Pride team, so you may have already pulled him, and he is the best character out of this entire lot. So if you have him, there's really no need to summon. And then finally, the Tempest Elite Rimuru, the nuking character, the single target nuking character, he gives himself a 30% attack buff and 100% ult damage. That's fairly good. We have Exalted Champion Milim, who does 100% weakness and 100% ult for 15 points. So we can see where the power creep went, because he's 25 for this. And then his second skill is Greater Burn. Greater Burn for 2 turns, 30% additional fire damage, which does also get calculated based on the fire follow-up attacks. So not only are you sending a nuke for Rimuru, you're going to send follow-up orbs for Rimuru, and then the fire follow-up orbs from Protector Trainee, and then that's going to factor into your burn damage. So you can actually do quite a bit of burn with Rimuru, especially if you can get like 2 stacks on it or something like that. 60%, that's hefty, but we don't really need burn right now in the game. And then he also gives a stacking 10% weakness strike, which makes him slightly better nuker. But the team, because it's not a stacking team, doesn't have a lot of points to use if your entire team is dedicated to orb changing with Shuna, just like the entire team for Prosper was orb changing with Lumi. Eventually that gets very expensive, and there's not too many ways to get around that, because you don't skill reset here. So overall, Trainee, not a good protector. Shuna, pretty underpowered. Benimaru, very good. Free-to-play Gobta, very good. Rimuru, no one uses him right now. Single target nuker, good for maybe a Jubilee stage here and there. Otherwise, no one gives a shit about him. So you really don't summon on this meta. If you have the Ogre's Pride team, you will destroy this battle. You will absolutely annihilate his beatdown battle. And you don't even have to go 8 turns for it. You probably do it with just raw power on turn 5 or something like that. Momiji is that powerful. So don't worry too much about it. Trainee also has, extra damage against Earth, just like Benimaru. So Momiji is going to do even more ridiculous damage against this beatdown. They will have magic resistance. Doesn't fucking matter. Momiji will murderize it. So there's no reason for you to summon for this rerun. It's just good to have the rerun so you can actually get access to Gobta and some of the missions and get him done and skilled up and leveled out before it goes away and he comes back in like a year or something like that. So there's the very long preview. I didn't expect to go into that much detail about the team, but here we are. Let me know what you guys think about them running 2 beatdowns concurrently. I think it's mostly good. I just wish they would just make it permanently available, but that's my own thoughts. Let me know what you think, but that's it from me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all tomorrow.